to interview Adoor. It's a big gap in my education, in my cinema education, that I've not had the opportunity to talk to you. I'm so glad we're addressing it today. There's so much that we need to talk about, but let's begin with the idea of film watching and the film society culture that you actually started in Kerala way back, I think in the 60s, yeah, 65, after I think coming out of graduating from FTI. Talk a little about how that whole idea of cinema watching and cinema literacy has changed.
Well, way back in 65, we had very little of audiovisual exposure. Yeah. In fact, it was non-existent. Cinema was the only thing before us. And also people had no chance of watching good films, in general, anywhere in this country, except through this one single source of film societies. So film societies were formed in other parts of the country, but in Kerala we did not have any such society. So as soon as I came back from the Film Institute in Pune, after having passed out, I started this film society in Trivandrum, and it encouraged my friends across the state to start their own societies. And we gave them the advice and also material help through supply of films, etc. That those were circulated. And in a state where there was no society before, we had some 100 and odd societies functioning at a time. This was surpassing even Calcutta.
Which was the home of...
Bengal was the home.
Film
they had the largest number of societies before.
Right.
We just overtook them. And it had some impact on the society in general. And also it meant that many young people went to study in Pune Film Institute.
Yeah.
So they got the taste of good cinema, through these societies, and then they wanted to further study. And Film Institute in Pune had the largest number of students from Kerala all through.
Yeah, in every department.
In every department. So this was a big impact. It had a big impact on Kerala's film scene. And slowly they got absorbed into the film industry. And many of them went to Bombay also. Some people came to Madras, like that. So the film watching, and we had also, the movement also could produce several film critics.
Yeah.
If you look at the national awards for film writing, there are so many of our Keralites winning this prize.
Yes.
Writing, in fact, at one time it was my idea to have this award instituted. I had advised it to the government because as a member of the advisory board. It was my idea. And then it caught up. And then in all the 14 languages, most of the languages, people started writing in their local languages. So it became very important to have films treated as an important subject. Before Satyajit Ray came on the scene, nobody believed that it can be an honorable job, it can be an honorable profession. That thing was not there.
Yeah.
Here came a great artist who was a master of so many areas.
In every department.
In every department, not only film department, but as an artist, as a painter, as a writer, a musician, all that. You say it is there.
Yeah.
And he was also a student at the Shanti Niketan.
Yeah.
He studied under Nandalal Bose, all that. But he was a great fan of cinema. So all his knowledge and experience in all the other sister areas, sister groups, he brought into this cinema, into his cinema of Bengali cinema. He brought it in. And none of the people who worked with him had any previous experience in the film industry.
Yeah.
So everything was new about it.
Right.
The kind of total devotion to it, and not that they were untrained in any sense, because they were all self-trained. Including Mr. Ray. Everything was new. They looked at the reality very differently.
Yeah.
So that made a big impact on all of us. not just Bengalis in Calcutta, but then now all over the country. My generation of filmmakers were greatly influenced by that. You talk about cinema, immediately first you say,
No, I mean, you go to Cannes even now and they can only talk about Satyajit Ray and how they had to create a bed for him that was special because he was 6'4", but they did it every time.
Yes, yes. Not only Satyajit Ray, then after him or along with him, you had Ritik Ghatak, Mrinal Sen. No, they were all great.
And you, let us not be so modest.
No, I'm always respectful to my gurus. They are all my gurus. Because without them, I couldn't have done what I did in my life. It's very important. No, in Japan, there is a system, the way they have progressed in every field, that they respect the gurus.
Their mentors.
They're always, before taking a decision, they consult the gurus. We also had it. In fact, they took it from us, in fact. It went from here to China to Korea, Korea to Japan. So, but then they have improved on it. All these influences they received from outside, it was improved upon. It has been made into a very great fine art, like that.
When you talk about the respect for gurus and you see the state of institutions, the cinema institutions in this country, I'm of course referring to the K.R. Narayanan Institute of Visual Science and Arts. But not just that, I'm also talking about the kind of collapse of the 4 institutions that you've had at the national level under NFDC, including the Children's Film Society, the Directorate of Film Festivals, the Films Division. These were all institutions that had their own separate film culture. They've all now been subsumed under NFDC. So there's a change that is happening. Let's talk about both these changes.
All these departments, they have their individual existence.
Yes.
They have also excelled in some areas, somewhere they were wanting, but they are now all bundled together.
Yes.
The attitude is that you can you can manage it with women managers. This is a very wrong approach. And to have several functions under one head is a very wrong thing to do. In fact, what was required was a separate ministry for cinema. It could have come under that ministry instead of I&B, because to bring it under I&B makes no sense. In fact, that could have been changed. Like any advanced country, like in France, they have a separate ministry for cinema, and they should be the model. France is one country which respects art. Artists, it's not the last priority for them. It's amongst the high priorities.
But don't you feel cinema itself, for so long we heard about cinema as soft power, as, cultural diplomacy, such an integral part of it. Don't you feel that of late it has somewhat been reduced in importance? And there's a particular effort to reduce it?
Everyone talks about, the politician particularly talks about cinema and its power.
Yes.
What they are talking about is their own propagation of ideas of themselves or promoting themselves. It is not about cinema proper. Unfortunately, in this country, we have been, our audiences, our people have been exposed to rubbish over and again. That is the image of cinema they have. What the film societies did was to bring from whichever country produced a film all over the world. There are good films being made, films which can be called works of art. Our audiences have to be exposed to that. You have to de-educate them about cinema. That is what is required, and it's not a small job. Film societies can create only ripples, not beyond. It had its contribution, but then what will you do in an ocean of rubbish? What will you do? There is no scope.
So how do you negotiate this ocean of rubbish and then talk about cinema as soft power? What needs to be done?
We are making the basic mistakes to start with. Films division, it had a real role. Film division is also a great storage of the life in India. Right from the British to the present days, it always copied, it also is recorded, life here. It was the most important document. It has been stopped ever since the television came.
Yeah.
Because every politician wanted to appear on the television the very same day. You have the direct telecast, things like that. So they did not want this film division to be working anymore.
No, in fact, they call it a colonial legacy, which we are well rid of.
No, it's a legacy. Certain legacies we can make use of.
Yeah.
For our good, our own good, you cannot dismiss everything else because it came from outside.
Right.
It was a legacy of the past.
Yeah.
But the film division developed on its own. There have been heads of the film divisions who saw, like Mr. Pavanagari,
Yeah.
Jean Pavanagari, during his time as the chief producer of the institute. He was brought in by Jawaharlal Nehru. And then the producers were given freedom to work not only for propaganda but about arts and things like that, and there were wonderful films being made. They were almost like the National Board of Film Board of Canada.
Right.
That kind of thing was there. Then started the big slide down. This is what happened because you want only propaganda to be done through your machinery. Then this is what happens. It degenerates. In fact, even in the present shape, film institution was doing well, making films on particular subjects and things like that. It's a very serious approach to making films.
Oh, the documentary culture is quite, it's quite alive in India. Right. It's doing very well.
Yes, in fact, it has also supported a lot of filmmakers who wanted to enter into the film industry. It was their, training ground in one way. They were, because the experience of having made documentaries helps you to make a feature film better. You don't go after the so-called glamour, but then you go after the art of it. You find several of the former filmmakers who used to work for the films division, either as independent or as an employee, you find them making better films than the others.
Of course.
More than the film. It's like almost like a film institute, where you learn, with hands-on experience gathered. That used to be.
Film Institute reminds me of K.R. Narayanan Institute. I have to ask you.
I'm happy that today, unhappy also.
What is going
today
on?
Everybody is asking me about K.R. Narayanan Institute. I'm happy because the first time people are hearing about this institute. It was started in 2014 and nobody knew about this institute except even in this small locality it was not known. Now suddenly because of all the bad news about it, people have taken note, the media has taken it up and then it is spread and all that. But it is a certain calculated, scripted plan to do anti-propaganda against this institution. So now unfortunately what happened is many of the teachers there have resigned. They are gone. They say that there is no future for this institute because it has been brought under such terrible situation by very vicious propaganda, very effective propaganda, I must say.
But what is the purpose of this propaganda?
That's what I'm also wondering about. What was this for?
Right.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I have no real answers. But I know some people who are elements which are within the institute and also without the institute, outside the institute. They have certain interest because before Mr. Shankar Mohan was brought in 3 years back as the director, it was total anarchy that existed there because the institute was started without a proper base and there were no good teachers, there was no facilities also available. It was almost like the people, the government at that time thought that it's like starting a school. Right. They had no idea about a film school. So once Shankar Mohan joined the institute, he started working it as a very important institution. And in fact, it was already about to surpass both Pune and Calcutta.
Okay.
It was at this stage. Unfortunately, then suddenly started because there was discipline brought in, because there were teachers. There recruitment done for all departments, teachers for all the departments. They were being put in position. All that, and we have some of the very best professionals as professors, teachers, etc. And they are all terribly disappointed, dejected, and they are living. They have been living in total disappointment. Unfortunate thing.
When you look at the state of the Malayalam film industry right now, suddenly everyone is talking about the resurgence. Do you agree that there is a resurgence? Do you feel that the kinds of themes that they are working on, say the Great Indian Kitchen or Jaya 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 Hey recently, do you watch these movies? Do you appreciate them?
No, I have not seen all of them. Some of them, the filmmakers, they bring the film to me and then either in the VD, CD or...
Do they still
DVD.
consider your,
They
you
want me
their
to-
guru?
They want to see me and
Yeah.
see it and then give a comment, etc. That I invariably do, not only from Kerala. They come from West Bengal, they
Right.
come from Tamil Nadu, particularly those who make their first films. They, most of them, so many of them have been bringing it to me, and I always encourage them. I have never discouraged any filmmaker, budding filmmakers. And some of them have done well in the industry later. Because so, if I find some spark of artistry in it, then I try to encourage it.
Right.
And I also, if they are coming in person, then I also discuss it with them. I always do that.
Is there something that you watched recently, or a filmmaker or an actor who's come up recently whom you admire or who you think has a great potential?
No, see, I cannot talk about, there are so many of them. There are so many of them. I cannot mention one or two, then I will be leaving out the others.
There'll be,
that won't be
yet
fair.
another controversy.
That's not controversy, that won't be fair. Because there are at least, in Kerala itself, there are at least half a dozen.
Yes.
Half a dozen of them who are really good. I see a hope for the cinema in Malayalam because it used to be in a real rut before. There was no hope of anything coming new. But suddenly it has started because of many reasons. One is the Film Society movement. Second is the International Film Festival we have started there.
Yes.
And that these are all the real causes. And then there is a lot, in fact, again with my insistence, cinema studies have been introduced in the university classes. They study, including myself, practically all of my, most of my scripts have been a subject of study for them, etc. So there is amongst the young people, there is a lot of interest in cinema proper.
What do you think is the state of FTI currently? Are you happy with the kind of students who are coming out with their politics?
FTI, I don't hear about FTI anymore because
Is
FTI,
that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, FTI, because
You were in the second batch, right?
There was a strike in the FTI.
Yeah.
And then because they brought in a television extra artist as the chairman.
Yes.
And they really opposed it. And I was one of those who very vociferously opposed it.
Right.
Because it will affect the future of the institution. I thought it was a very wrong thing to do. So I was in the forefront of the protests. But 145 days they had strike and they were defeated by the authorities.
Right.
And most of them had police cases against them. Even today they are going to the police station. They have to report to police station every week or something like that.
Right.
So they have been absolutely, completely demoralized.
Right.
I don't know what will come out of that. Not only that, they have started several short-term courses in the institute. That is to kill the main course. 1 year for this the direction, another half an year for the script writing, like that. It has been devalued, So an institution like that cannot be doing that. That is, leave it to others to do. There are several private institutions running 6 months course, 3 months course. Such orientation they are giving for very high price, So let them do it. It is not for the government to do that. This institution had a certain prestige. It has gathered it around, over a long period of time. Don't kill it. At least, you nurture it. Don't kill it. In fact, they have really killed it.
But we have a tradition of killing our best institutions. So
Yes. One of them.
One of them is this.
Yes.
But just coming back to the idea that we had, you had people like Ray, Mrinal Sen, you, who were globally renowned, respected at the best festivals in the world. You don't necessarily have that anymore. There are a handful of directors and filmmakers, perhaps Mani Ratna, Meera Nair, who can be in that category. What happened?
No, if you look at the policy,
Yeah.
see when the film, when the government had with the vision of Jawaharlal Nehru again,
Yeah.
the Film Institute was started because of the S.K. Patil Commission's report. I know it was one of the major recommendations to improve. The idea the Nehru had was, he even made a statement in the parliament at that time that we make the largest number of films and we are proud of it. It is very wrong to do. Our films cannot compare with what is being produced outside this country. So we have a reason to improve the standards, and that's how the S.K. Patil Commission was set up. Patil made fantastic recommendations, very interesting reports. It was as a result of the report that those recommendations were made. One was to set up a film finance corporation. Then the other was to start a national film archive. Then the Children's Film Society, International Film Festival. No, they were far-reaching. All these great institutions have been set up.
Yeah.
Now look at what is left. They are all bundled together.
Yeah.
And then they think the event managers will manage it. They cannot. So you see how it is being discouraged. The kind of film film appreciation, how it is being completely with at least regard for these things.
You're not a great fan of OTT.
Not at all.
Why is that?
OTT will ultimately finish off cinema.
Yeah. You think watching on your phone is the worst thing you can do?
Yes. I will never do that.
Right.
I don't even watch films on television. I don't like it because cinema is made to be seen. It's a communal experience, in a dark room on a large screen. And you have taken every member of the audience has taken a decision to come and watch it.
Yeah.
So they've come there. They are completely devoted. It's a devoted audience sitting inside the hall. The lights off, and then you have all the rituals done. Then the film starts. You are ready to be worked upon. Right. You become part of this whole thing. Nothing like that happens with OTT or television. It is. You can take it as casual, watching very casually amongst other things. You can go out for something and come back and see it.
Put it on again.
And that kind of thing. So it's no more given the respect it demands. And the other thing is cinema is, the great capacity of cinema is that it can be meditative.
Yeah.
That
and
is
especially
taken
your
out.
movies.
Yes, that is taken out.
If you go away from your movie and come back after 2 minutes,
you're gone.
You're gone. Because so much is left unsaid.
Yes.
And it's all about the beauty of the frame.
Also our cinema has this, popular cinema has this problem. The audiences have forgotten to watch the films.
Yeah.
They only hear.
Listening to
only the speeches made on the screen.
Yeah.
They are not even talking naturally. They make speeches.
Yeah.
Particularly when your hero is talking in the language of the region, and if he switches on to English, the audience will clap. So the hero can talk English very well. That is the kind of culture associated with cinema.
And if the hero is not talking, then the background music is so loud that the dialogue gets drowned. So the visual aspect of movies is actually gone.
Yeah,
unless you have a shock visual like RRR. It's a series of shock visuals.
They look for, they are hearing cinema, not watching.
Right.
This has been happening. And you look at television, the same film, if you see on a television screen, on television screen, the highs of the sound are not heard.
Yeah.
The lows of the sound also is not heard. The medium one. Actually, it is at a medium level. It works at a medium level. Because, and no issues are tackled there. No issues are discussed there. Because you are happy. No, it is just commonplace.
Mediocrity is always comfortable.
Mediocrity is ingrained in it. There is no escape from it. You cannot make a masterpiece on television. Never. Nobody has done it.
Not even Ray.
Not
Two quick questions and then we have to wrap it. Yes, please, quickly.
Good morning, sir. What are your views on the global success of RRR? Is it redefining Indian cinema? And secondly, has the regional borders of Indian cinema slowly disappearing, and is it becoming one particular unit?
Thank you.
No, this RRR, I only heard about it. From what I heard about it, I don't want to see it.
And the regional
Because I have to pay for it if I see it. Because I will be contributing my 25 rupees to a bad film.
Not 25, sir, 500 rupees.
500 rupees to a film which I cannot approve of. It's not in my grain.
Another question, quickly. And you had a secondary question about the regional borders.
Regional.
Yeah.
Regional borders. Actually, the regionality or regionalness of the film is very important. You know, Bombay has been, even Madras also has been producing all India films. Kerala also. They think that it will be appreciated all over India.
Yeah.
With the result, it loses its roots.
Right.
Loses a particularity about it.
Exactly.
You know, it becomes very typical Bombay film.
So it begins in Bombay and ends in Switzerland.
Anywhere, it can. It can.
And the helicopter takes off from Afghanistan and lands up in maybe Russia.
Yes,
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. And the hero emerges.
There is no fuel problem.
No fuel problem, nothing. Another question, quickly. Otherwise, we'll call it a day. Thank you so much, Adoor. It's really such an honor to be here with you. And I hope, at least after this, if you've not watched his movies, please do. And begin, I think, with Vidayan is a good way to enter your cinema. At least they'll appreciate the star in it and then get into the cinema.
No, actually, my films, different people have different likes about my different films.
Yes, everyone has a favorite.
Not one film.
Yeah.
Different films.
Yeah.
I appreciate that because you bring a certain understanding of the world and your own self to the appreciation of a film. So a work of art, like even including cinema, is not like this table and bench.
Yeah.
Table and bench, It cannot look the same to everyone.
Exactly.
So bring in your own self to the understanding of what you see. So I am happy to hear that different people like different films, not the same.
That's what cinema is all about, really.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Wonderful.
so.
Thank you so much. Sure, please.
Narayanan is a great legend. I like his film. My best film is Swayamvaram.
Oh, yes, of course.
And
Yeah.
because your heroine Sharada is also one of my favorite actors.
She is. She's lovely.
Wonderful films. I've seen it several times.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's the Vice Chancellor of JNU. So you'll hear her later in the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And